So with the beauty of St Paul's Cathedral just behind my shoulder, and also the modern Millennium Bridge, which is the pedestrian bridge going across the Thames, and then also with the Tate Modern Gallery just there, you'd think, wow, there's lots of bits going on here. Well, yeah, see, nothing yet. That's all modern stuff. So, well, maybe not St Paul's Cathedral, but in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things within the space of less than 100 metres that if you're coming to London, so many people miss, and it's history. So we're going to start here. And this is Cardinal Alley, Cardinal's Wharf. And we're going to take a little stroll down here because we can actually go in here and have a look in a second. But just to give you an idea, it is right next to the Tate Modern, and it's also by the bridge, and it overview over the back there, watching over it, is the beautiful dome of St Paul's Cathedral. Oh, by the way, and there's the City of London. So you've got all of this modern stuff going on, yet you have this, a beautiful area here, and I must admit, it is rather beautiful, ignoring the green bins. And let's face it, everyone these days has to live with a bin or two, so yeah, get that. Oh, by the way, that beep is from one of the ships that's currently going up and down. So this is Cardinal's Wharf. Now, we're going to go in there and have a look, but there's rumoured to have been 2 people that lived there many moons ago, one of which I tend to believe more than I do the other. So let's go down in front of the Shakespears Theatre. That's another one we're going to have a look at in just a couple of seconds, but very briefly. And go and have a look at Cardinal's Wharf and Cardinal's Cap Alley, because it's rumoured that when the Great Fire of London started over the other side of the Thames there, so there was, and of course it took down the old St Paul's Cathedral, it's rumoured that Sir Christopher Wren used to live in one of these places here. And therefore he saw that, and actually it was from there he grabbed his coat and went running across. Now that one I don't believe quite as much, but there is a plaque on here, and that plaque quite clearly says, here lived Sir Christopher Wren during the building of St Paul's. Now also here in 1502, Catherine Infanta of Castile-Aragon, afterwards the first Queen of Henry VIII, took shelter on her first landing in London, here at Cardinal's Wharf. That is quite something. Now, that's been disputed, or the bit that's been disputed is definitely the Christopher Wren piece and the early piece that he saw the fire and he went running across. Whether he stayed there after, well, they've got that up there. But one of the other residents, away from, of course, the first Queen to Henry VIII, and let's face it, if you've got London history and you haven't got Henry VIII in it, you haven't got London history. But this is quite beautiful. Is apparently William Shakespeare lived in one of these houses, and when it was performance time, and he was one of these guys that always ran late, he ran down at Cardinal Cap Alley to the Shakespeare, or to the Globe Theatre, which he was a part owner of. He started off with 12% and finished with 10% owning of the original Globe Theatre, until it was sort of knocked down and pulled down when Cromwell took charge in 1648. But he used to run down there through the back garden and then to where the old Shakespeare's Globe Theatre is. So that is at Cardinal Alley, so that's our first place. But once again, people walk past here and go, oh, that's a nice looking building, especially with the deanery and that sign there, and also that beautiful sign just above the Cardinal's Wharf door there. And if you're a regular watcher of the channel, you know how much I love the light fittings. So that's one of the places, okay? The next one is the Shakespeare's Globe. So, as I said, Shakespeare allegedly ran through there because the original Globe Theatre wasn't built here. It was built about 50 to 100 metres further back. And in fact, you see that modern building over the back there, just behind, it was just sort of on part of the foundations of that and further back. And they've actually found foundations recently, well, back in the 1990s, when they were digging under a sort of restored building, or a building that was protected, so they couldn't actually dig it any further. So anyway, back in the 1990s, they rebuilt Shakespeare's Globe Theatre and they put it here. I must admit, we haven't been in there yet, purely because it says you can't film in there, so I haven't been in there yet, but we will at some point. So the Shakespeare's Theatre, everyone comes down here and goes, oh yeah. But they missed that other piece there as well, right? And that looks fantastic. It's an open air theatre, and it's been recreated. So fantastic. Okay, so as we then carry on, oh, and that was opened in 1999. Okay, so as we carry down, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go back up the steps. So that's two pieces, and they are, well, those two were next to each other. But I really want to show you how close these historic items are. So if you're coming down here, you can come and have a look yourself. That's the idea of this. And so many people miss the next two. Oh, by the way, this is a Bankside Pier, so you can jump off one of the Uber Thames Clippers if you want and get here, which is great. Also, coming down later in the evening, as you can see, look, there's a lack of people. Normally, it's absolutely buzzing down here with people buzzing so much that you can't actually see anything because it's just like a swarm of people. When I say can't see anything, it's just hard to manoeuvre. If you know where you're going, then that's great. Right, so you've got the City of London over there watching over, but it's by the side of this building I'm interested. So it's not Pizza Express, and it's not the Real Greek next to it, but it's down that side road. And what you've got for our next historical item is perched in the wall. Now, I'm focusing and I'm going to it now, but just watch. Yeah, I love doing people watching. Actually, maybe we'll do a video on people watching. No, I won't do. But look, everyone's just gone, and even those ones that have gone walking down there have just literally walked past it. But we're going to go and have a look because as you go by the side of the Real Greek, you have the Ferrymans Seat there. Now this is Ferrymans Seat. It was located on previous buildings at this site, so it's been located here. And it was constructed for the convenience of Bankside Watermen, who operated ferry services across the river. The seat's age is unknown, but it's thought to have ancient origins. And in fact, if I remember rightly reading, when they did some carbon dating, they reckon sort of 1500s, but it's been attached to whatever buildings are here. So when they've changed the building premises, then they've had to keep that here and keep that historical. But it's incredible to think that the ferryman used to sit here waiting. Now, is it me, or as a seat, is that very, very small? Yeah, I don't think they were quite as wide as we were today. Anyway, there you go. Now, just another bit, which I wasn't going to include in here, is this road is Bear Gardens. And the reason it's called Bear Gardens, because further down, near the end of it, they had a bear baiting pit, which was a sport at the time where they'd put bears in there which would fight each other and people would bet on the outcome, etc. And that was a sport in the time of William Shakespeare. So there you go, that's down the end of Bear Gardens. Amazing, eh? Name of a street, name of what's going on. Okay, so as we look at the modern Uber boat racing people up and down the river by river bus, and then we go around to the ferry seat. Our next piece of treasure, our next piece, I think, from years gone by, is literally at the end of this walkway before we get to Southwark Bridge. Now this one, yes, lots of people walk by, but not only do lots of people walk by, it's because actually people don't notice what it actually is. And currently, if you're coming down here in the next year, you've got as easy. So there you go. But it's right by Southwark Bridge. So you've got Southwark Bridge. As you can hear today, we have music playing. But we're not here for the music. We're not here for Southwark Bridge. It's coming up in a second. We're here for this. Bollard. See the Bollard? Yeah. So you think, yeah, okay, that's great, Steve, but what's special about a Bollard? Well, the special about the Bollard, apart from the fact people have put cigarettes in the end of it, is a closer look reveals that this is an old cannon. And this is a cannon from a requisition ship. And what happened was, when the City of London was growing short of money and they were scrapping ships which had been out and they'd done their time, they then started using cannons and other metalwork and other parts of it. And interestingly enough, a lot of the timber at Liberty is from an old ship. But they use that and they put that here. So this is a cannon, actually, and just to prove it even further, down the end, so you've got where the cannonball went in there, You've got the markings just around the centre here, but down further near the bottom, you've got where the wheels would have been, or the support, the axle part of the cannon. So you've got the whole cannon just sitting here. And once again, acting as a street bollard here on the South Bank, right by the Thames, which is coming over at the moment because it's high tide and it's zipping down. So there you go. So you got that one. Right, our final piece of history means we go past the busker. I think the busker's going to be here, so I'm going to talk over this as the voiceover mode, is the music.
And as lovely as the music is, one, you won't hear me speak. Well, maybe a good thing. And secondly, YouTube won't be very happy. There you go. Right, so what you've got down here is you've got 5 friezes, all depicting the Frost Fair. Now, if you're a regular listener to our podcasts, not long ago, we've actually done a podcast on the Frost Fair. Now, the Frost Fair is when the Thames froze over. Everyone seems to think it froze over many, many times, but it didn't. And the last time it frosted over, or froze over even, was in 1814. And this depicts an old poem from then, as well as showing you where it happened. And each of these friezes gives you a couple of lines from, well, the inscription which was written at the time. And it was, "Behold the liquid Thames frozen o'er, that lately ships of mighty brethren bore." And again, if you look closely, not only have you got all the streets which are around where the area was frozen, but you've also got the boats here stuck in the middle of the ice when the actual frost happened. Now also in between the friezes, you've got these areas here, which gives you a bit of history. Unfortunately, this one is really, well, not in a great condition. The others you'll see at the end are in much better condition. Anyway, let's go on to the next frieze along and the next part of the ode, which is the watermen for want of rowing boats make use of booths to get their pence and groats. Now again, in this one, you've got a map of the areas where the frieze and Thames was. And here you've got Clink Street, which is just down the road from where we are now, here on the South Bank. Now we can also see some of the booths that they had set up there. You've got some money there. And can you see the boat being pulled across, or the boat on wheels, or the carriage on wheels being pulled across? That might be the representation of the king that once visited a Frost Fair to eat some meat which was being cooked on the thick ice. Incredible to think that the ice at one point was about 18 inches thick. Then our third of the 5th frieze is, "Here you may eat beef roasted on the spit, and for your money you may taste a bit." And there at the bottom left on the Thames, you've got the spit with the beef on it, and you've got various entertainment going on, including ice skating at the bottom left. Right, on to our 4th one. "There you may print your name. Thou cannot write, 'cause numbed with cold, 'tis done with great delight," which refers to a printer that actually set up on the Thames, so you could actually have something printed with your name on to prove you were there. And then the 5th and final frieze, "And lay it by that ages yet to come may see what things upon the ice were done." This inscription is based on handbills which were printed on the Thames during the Frost Fairs. Wow! What a way to make a bit of money. And then what you've also got between those, some of those friezes as well, is you've got some of the bits and pieces that you could get on there, and also some of the activities that took place as well. But once again, you've got to get really, really close to be able to see those. But the question I would ask is, how many people walk under this bridge and literally just walk straight past that without realising what it is to do with? And it's incredible to think they got so cold that the ice on the Thames was so thick they could have these fairs. And the recorded Frost Fairs were in 695, 1608, 1683 to 1684, 1716, 1739 to 1740, 1789 and 1814, the last one recorded.
So, with the City of London behind me, Southwark Bridge just over my shoulder, and the tunnel with the Frost Fair etchings in through there. We've seen the Frost Fair etchings, we've seen the cannon which is being used as a street bollard, we've also seen the Ferrymans Seat which used to be used for the ferrymen to sit, waiting to take the boats backwards and forwards and take people across the water. We've also seen the road that led to the Bear Pit. We've also seen where the new Shakespears Theatre is being built just down the road from the old one, and we've also seen Cardinal Alley, all within the space of 100 metres, which is quite incredible. So if you're on the South Bank, make sure you take these things in. I can't tell you the volume of people that walk past them. But I tell you what is noticeable, people stop for the Frost Fair one. And the reason they stop for the Frost Fair one is it seems to be in a number of sort of treasure hunts done around London where people have got to go and discover, well, part of a list of the food that was eaten during the Frost Fair. So therefore they stop and have a look at that, but that's about it. So if you are down here, do come and take these pieces of history in, and it's unbelievable that it's all sitting there. Now, another place that we've discovered not long ago is this amazing courtyard behind St Paul's Cathedral. Not attached to St Paul's, just this courtyard, which has an Assyrian stone in it, which dates back to way back when. So if you've not seen that video, I'll put that in the top right hand corner for you. Thanks for watching, catch you soon. And thanks for watching, and thanks for being here on London Visited. Take care, bye.